The sudden arrival of the sky over Earth had never looked so strange. Clouds swirling in colors no one had ever seen before, and the air was thick with an electric hum. People stopped what they were doing, staring upward in fear and wonder. When the first ship appeared, it was enormous, sleek, and glowing with light that seemed alive. It hovered silently above the Atlantic Ocean, reflecting the sun in flashes that made everyone shield their eyes. Governments around the world scrambled jets and satellites, but no one could approach it. It was as if the ship existed in its own reality, untouchable and eternal. Inside the command center of the United Nations, alarms blared, screens flickered, and military officers whispered urgently among themselves. "This is not a threat, we know," one diplomat said, his voice tight with tension. "They are not like anything we have faced before." The ship did not move or attack, but it sent a message, glowing symbols that floated in the air like liquid fire. A voice came with it, deep and calm, yet impossible to ignore. "Humans of Earth, you have crossed into the Dominion," it said. And then silence, leaving the world holding its breath. In cities and villages, people looked at each other with wide eyes, fear spreading faster than any news channel could report. But among the fear, a strange excitement grew. A group of teenagers in Tokyo pointed at the sky, whispering, "It's beautiful." A scientist in Geneva adjusted her glasses and muttered, "This is history in the making." Humanity had never faced something so vast, so clearly beyond their understanding. Yet, despite their fear, they felt a spark of curiosity, a desire to see what lay beyond the stars. The Dominion's ships multiplied, appearing over oceans, deserts, and mountains. They moved with perfect grace, forming patterns that no human mathematician could calculate. Some people screamed and hid, while others stood in awe, phones in hand, capturing the impossible. News anchors struggled to describe it. "These are ships, unlike anything we know. They are huge and silent." The world waited, holding its breath, for the next signal, the next sign of what the Dominion wanted. Then the voice spoke again, stronger, yet calm. "Humans, we watch and judge. We will see if your species can endure." The message left a chill in every heart, yet somewhere beneath the fear, a stubborn pride began to grow. Humanity had survived floods, wars, and disease, and somehow, they would not bow to the unknown either. In London, a young soldier tightened his gloves, thinking, "We will meet them. We will not break." Across the world, children and elders, workers and scientists, shared a single thought. They were on the brink of something great, something terrifying, but they would not turn away. By nightfall, the ships hovered like silent guardians, the oceans reflecting their glow. Humanity looked up, united by fear and awe, and wondered what came next. Leaders called emergency meetings, scientists debated strategies, journalists speculated endlessly. But deep inside, every human heart carried a single unspoken question. How would they face the Dominion, and could they remain unshaken? As the moon rose over a trembling Earth, the ships did not leave, and the voice did not return. Humanity had been challenged, and a new chapter of history had begun, one that would test courage, intelligence, and the very spirit of humankind. And somewhere in the silence between stars and sky, humans made a promise to themselves. They would cross into the unknown, and they would remain unshaken. The test of will. The human fleet entered the Dominion's space cautiously, every ship trembling under the weight of fear and anticipation. Stars passed like silent witnesses as they approached the enormous Dominion world, a planet that glowed with strange colors, oceans of liquid silver, and cities that floated above the ground. Humans had never seen anything like it. Massive structures defying gravity, towers twisting toward the sky, bridges connecting floating islands. Everything moved with a rhythm that felt alive, as if the planet itself was watching them. Captain Alara stood on the bridge of the flagship, her hands gripping the rail. "Keep formation," she said, her voice steady, though her heart raced around her. The crew whispered prayers or silently stared at the screens, every sensor reading showing anomalies they could not explain. The first Dominion vessel appeared, immense and shadowy, its surface shimmering like liquid metal. There was no weapon fire, no aggressive move, but a strange energy field surrounded it, making even the bravest shiver. A voice echoed through the fleet, calm but commanding, "Humans, show your strength." The message was simple, yet it carried weight heavier than mountains. Survive what you face. Prove your will. The Dominion had set the stage, and humans knew this was the first real test. Not weapons, not politics, but the challenge of courage, unity, and quick thinking, Alara signaled, "Prepare the scouting teams. We move carefully." Drones and small ships peeled off toward the planet, their lights cutting through the darkness of space. On the surface, the Dominion world was even more astonishing. Towers of crystal reached into clouds, rivers of glowing liquid cut through cities, and creatures of light and shadow moved with intelligence beyond human comprehension. The scouting teams reported back, some in awe, others in fear. The aliens watched silently, never showing emotion, yet humans felt their presence like a pressure in the chest. Then the first challenge came, a test, not of weapons but of intellect. Energy fields appeared, shifting in impossible patterns, blocking paths, threatening to crush ships or ground vehicles that touched them. Engineers and pilots worked together, recalculating every movement, improvising with courage and logic. Some mistakes were made, some ships nearly lost, but humans adapted quickly, learning the strange rules of this alien world. The Dominion observed silently, then the voice returned. "Calmer now, your species bends, yet does not break." Humans began to understand the meaning. It was not war, but judgment, a measure of their spirit. Every obstacle was designed to push them to the edge, to test their patience, courage, and cooperation. And every time humans found a solution, every time they overcame fear, the Dominion remained silent. Yet respect slowly grew in the strange signals that radiated from the planet. By the end of the day, humans had mapped part of the floating city, adapted to its shifting streets, and survived tests that seemed impossible at first. Alara looked at her crew, pride shining in her tired eyes. "We are learning," she said softly. "We are not just surviving, we are rising, and far above." In the glowing towers of the Dominion, the alien observers took note, recording every act of bravery, every spark of ingenuity. Humans were proving themselves worthy of being seen. Night fell on the alien world, and humans gathered on their ships. Tired but unbroken, the test had not ended. More challenges awaited, but a new feeling had taken root. Confidence, resilience, and a stubborn hope that no matter what the Dominion threw at them, they could endure. The stars above seemed a little less distant now, and humans prepared for the next trial, determined to remain unshaken. Shadows and secrets, the humans had survived the Dominion's first trials, yet a deeper unease settled over them. The alien world seemed alive in ways they could not fully understand. Shadows moved where no light existed, and strange sounds echoed from places their senses could not reach. Captain Alara knew they were being tested not only for courage but for insight. For the Dominion did not simply challenge strength, they observed perception, patience, and the ability to read what was hidden. Exploration teams moved through the floating cities cautiously, every corner revealing wonders and dangers alike. Bridges of crystal shifted underfoot, rivers of glowing liquid curved unpredictably, and alien symbols pulsed softly on the walls. Some humans whispered in awe, some in fear, but all felt a strange tension pressing on their minds. Then came the first discovery, a hidden chamber beneath one of the massive towers. The room contained strange machines, glowing with a soft, green light, and inscriptions that no human had ever seen before. A young linguist, Mara, studied the symbols, tracing them with trembling fingers. They are not just language," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "They are warnings, instructions, secrets of the Dominion itself." Alara leaned closer, feeling the weight of the moment. Understanding these secrets could mean survival or danger. A sudden tremor shook the chamber, and the humans realized they were not alone. Shadowy figures flickered at the edges of their vision, vanishing before anyone could fully focus on them. The Dominion's observers appeared subtle, not through direct contact but through signs and hints. Humans began to notice patterns, small inconsistencies in the floating city, signals hidden in the pulsing light. Creatures of shadow moved like whispers, guiding or testing them, and humans realized the Dominion's society was not perfect, not unified, but filled with hidden conflicts and unseen hierarchies. Some humans felt fear, wondering if they had stumbled into a trap. Others felt opportunity, sensing that knowledge could give them power. As night fell, the humans gathered to discuss their findings. The hidden secrets of the Dominion suggested vulnerabilities, but also dangers they could not predict. Mara spoke, her voice firm. "We have a choice. We can use what we learn to survive, or we can ignore it and risk everything." Alara nodded. "We will act carefully. Every step matters. Every decision counts." Then came the first betrayal, subtle and shocking. One human team member had begun sharing Information with a Dominion faction, drawn by promises they barely understood. Suspicion spread quickly, tension rising among the humans. Trust became as valuable as courage, and one wrong move could undo everything. Yet even in this uncertainty, the humans remained determined. They had learned to read the signs of the Dominion, and now they had to navigate both the alien world and the shadows within their own ranks. The voice of the Dominion returned, calm but heavier now. Humans, you see more than you should, and yet you continue. It was a warning, but also a challenge. Humans had glimpsed the cracks in the Dominion's perfection, and the aliens had noticed this game of observation and cunning had only just begun, and humans would need every ounce of wit, courage, and unity to survive. As the first light of the alien dawn touched the floating towers, humans prepared for the trials to come. Shadows still moved at the edges of their vision, secrets still whispered through the glowing streets, but the humans had learned something vital, that even in a world of mystery and danger, they could adapt, learn, and remain unshaken. Rising against the odds, the humans had learned the secrets of the Dominion, and now it was time to act. Their courage had been tested, their wits sharpened, and their unity strengthened. Captain Alara stood on the bridge of the flagship, watching the alien cities below. "We know enough," she said, determination in her voice. "Now we show them who we are." Every human on board felt a mix of fear and resolve. The stakes were higher than ever, yet no one wavered. The first move came at dawn. Small squads of humans advanced into the heart of the floating city. Using the knowledge they had gained, they avoided traps and shadowed observers. Every step was a careful balance of speed and caution. Engineers hacked alien machines, turning them into tools for exploration and defense. Pilots maneuvered drones through twisting towers, scouting paths that no human had dared to walk. The Dominion responded, but not with immediate violence. Instead, waves of energy and shifting fields tried to block the humans. To the aliens, this was a game of testing strength and resolve. But humans adapted quickly, combining strategy, courage, and instinct. A human team cornered by shifting walls found a new path by working together, a mechanic improvising a solution no one else could see. And slowly, the Dominion began to respect the boldness of humanity. But it was not just machines or energy fields that challenged them. Some of the shadowy observers became more direct, attempting to mislead humans with illusions and traps. One small team found themselves surrounded, the glowing streets bending in impossible ways. Fear gripped them, but Mara remembered the hidden signs, the patterns in the shadows, guiding her teammates safely through. Every victory, small or large, built confidence. Every narrow escape proved that humans could survive where others might fail. The turning point came when humans reached the central tower, a massive spire that pulsed with light. Inside, a chamber held the heart of Dominion intelligence, a network of knowledge and energy that connected their entire world. Alara stepped forward, speaking clearly. "We are not your enemies, but we are not afraid. We will face your challenges, and we will remain unshaken." The words echoed through the chamber, and for the first time, humans felt the Dominion pause. Energy fields softened, the shadows shifted, and the voice of the Dominion spoke, slower now, almost impressed. "Humans, you bend the rules of our world and still endure. You rise when others would fall. Your spirit is unexpected, yet undeniable." Humans had made their mark, not by force, but by courage, strategy, and unwavering unity. The alien world had tested them, pushed them to the limits. Yet humanity had not broken. By nightfall, humans regrouped on their ships, exhausted but victorious. The Dominion's floating cities glowed beneath them, no longer just intimidating, but a stage on which humans had proven themselves. Ilara looked at her crew, pride in her eyes. "We are not just survivors," she said softly. "We are a force they must acknowledge." And far above, the Dominion watched, recording, learning, and beginning to understand that humans were unlike any species they had ever faced. The stars above seemed brighter now, not as distant and unreachable as before. Humanity had faced shadows, tests, and traps, yet they had risen against all odds. Their courage was a beacon, their unity unbroken, and their spirit unshaken. The next trials awaited, more secrets, more challenges, but humans were ready, stronger and wiser than ever before. Unshaken legacy, the humans had proven themselves in the heart of the Dominion. Their courage, ingenuity, and unity had turned the alien world from a place of fear into a stage for human strength. Captain Alara stood on the bridge of the flagship, Gazing at the floating cities below, "We came as strangers," she said softly, "but we will leave a legacy." Every crew member felt the weight of their achievement, a quiet pride that filled even the most exhausted hearts. The Dominion watched closely, its massive towers glowing in acknowledgement. Humans now moved freely in the alien cities, guided by knowledge and trust they had earned. They discovered more secrets, but this time, the secrets served them, helping humanity navigate and thrive in a world designed to intimidate. Diplomats and explorers worked side by side, bridging gaps that had seemed impossible. Every human step was a symbol of endurance and determination. Back on the flagship, Mara recorded her observations, noting how the Dominion's society, once thought perfect and unassailable, had flaws and divisions. Yet humans had respected their rules, learned their patterns, and adapted without losing their own identity. News from Earth streamed in, celebrating the bravery of humanity, the courage of those who faced the unknown. Children looked up at the stars with hope, scientists dreamed bigger, and leaders learned to value unity over fear. Not every challenge had been easy, not every choice had been without risk. A few mistakes had been made, a few humans had nearly been lost, but each failure had taught them lessons, and in these lessons, humans had built a foundation for the future, a future where they could face the unknown and remain unshaken. Then the Dominion's voice came, calm and deliberate. "Humans, you have crossed into our world and yet remained steadfast. You have endured what others would fear, and in doing so, you have earned your place among the stars." It was not praise alone, but acknowledgement of a species unlike any other, one that would not bend to fear, one that would rise to meet every challenge. Captain Elara smiled at her crew. "We have done more than survive," she said. "We have shown what humanity can do. We are unshaken, and we will always be, across the world, and across the Dominion." Humans would be remembered for their courage, not for power, but for spirit, intelligence, and heart. As the human fleet departed the central towers, the stars stretched before them, endless and full of possibilities. Every eye turned to the future, imagining worlds they could explore, civilizations they could meet, challenges they could overcome. The humans had crossed into the Dominion, faced the unknown, and emerged stronger, wiser, and unbroken. And in every corner of space where humans would go, one truth remained, clear and bright. They would endure, adapt, and remain unshaken. The legacy of humanity was no longer just survival. It was courage, curiosity, and an unyielding spirit that even the greatest powers could not ignore. And somewhere, in the silent glow of the Dominion's towers, the aliens realized that humans were not just visitors in the stars. They were a force to respect, a spark that could never be extinguished.